I've spent more than 40 years studying human behavior, and I've noticed something interesting. Confusion almost always begins in one unexpected place. It begins the moment we stop asking questions. We make assumptions, we accept opinions, we inherit beliefs, often from other people, sometimes from ourselves, and we never stop to ask, is this actually true? Where's the evidence? Confusion exists whenever two opposing truths are living inside us. One voice says, do this. Another says, don't. One says, you're capable. Another says, you're not. The only way confusion disappears is by questioning both voices until one can no longer support itself. We've all heard the phrase, ask, and you shall receive. Most people hear that and think it means abundance. But I think it's much more practical than that. It literally describes how life works. If you ask, life answers. The problem is, we've been trained to accept answers, not to ask better questions. We've been taught to follow opinions, traditions, authority, the way things have always been done. Listening is valuable, but listen for resonance. Does this actually feel true? Does it bring peace or resistance? As children, we naturally asked, why? 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 Eventually someone replied, because, or that's just how it is, and little by little, we stopped asking. If we traced almost every painful experience back to its beginning, we'd usually discover one simple thing. Our heart quietly said no, and we ignored it. Not because we were foolish, because we wanted to stay safe. Now we have another opportunity. We can question everything, not to become argumentative, but to become clear. We often hand our power to authorities because we haven't yet claimed it ourselves. So, get comfortable asking questions. Recently I heard part of an election speech. Politics doesn't interest me, but one statement caught my attention. The candidate proudly promised to build over 20 new hospitals. Most people heard hope. I heard confusion. My immediate question was, why are we planning for more sickness instead of creating a society that needs fewer hospitals? Why would I vote for someone whose vision assumes deterioration instead of greater well-being? Whether you agree or disagree politically isn't the point. The point is the question. Questions dissolve confusion. I believe the word why is one of the most powerful words in any language. Without it, confusion survives, and confusion can keep people stuck for decades. So let's make this practical. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, ask yourself, why did I set this alarm? Not because there's a right answer, because your answer reveals your relationship with your own life. If the answer doesn't feel aligned, don't immediately change your routine. Question the belief underneath it. Can this belief actually support the life I want? The same applies to money. People often ask me, how do I become abundant? When we begin looking for evidence, we often discover they're already abundant. They're simply measuring abundance through a definition that keeps excluding what they already have. That's what confusion does. It keeps moving the finish line. Here's another example. People often say, I don't have enough money. I immediately ask, what do you mean by money? Because money itself isn't actually the thing you're looking for. In fact, it's not even a thing. It's just paper and metal. Money is simply a symbol. What are you hoping money will allow you to experience? Freedom, safety, choice, peace? If your words perfectly matched reality, your body would become quiet. But it doesn't. It becomes anxious, frustrated, agitated. That's your nervous system telling you, something about this story doesn't add up. Your brain is extraordinary. It can maintain confusion for years. But if you genuinely ask, it can also reveal remarkable clarity, peace, flow, relief. I have enormous compassion for anyone living in confusion. We're all experiencing it in certain degrees, but clarity only arrives when we're willing to question what we've assumed to be true. Otherwise, relationships end because of assumptions, not because people stopped loving each other. Health struggles continue because no one stops to ask, what is this experience trying to show me? Was there a time when it wasn't here? Businesses remain stuck because owners conclude, I need more success. Then I ask, what do you actually mean by success? Because if your business exists, it's already a success. And if it's about more income, then one more order that creates a profit defines that as more success. Perhaps what you actually want is more freedom or more meaningful work. Those are very different questions, and each one creates a completely different path forward. If what you truly want is more free time, why keep investing in more courses, more platforms, more strategies that simply keep you busy? Instead, ask, how could I create more freedom today? Because until you're clear about the feeling you're actually looking for, life can't fully respond. So what's the takeaway? Whenever something feels off, pause. Question every assumption. Ask, is this actually true? Where's the evidence? Is this belief bringing me peace or keeping me confused? Who's answering this question? My authentic self, or an old story I've never challenged? Then become willing to gather evidence for the life your heart genuinely wants to live. Because if a dream keeps returning, if an idea won't leave you alone, it isn't there to tease you. It's there because it's possible. The only thing standing between you and that possibility is the argument you're still having with reality. Question the argument, and clarity begins to appear.